I'm going to be covering CPD, and we'll start off with the Blueprint system. So the Blueprint system was first launched in November 2021 to replace, oh, I'm just gonna, sorry, I've got videos on my screen. I'm just gonna move that to up there. Sorry. Right, I've got the video out the way. Carry on. So the Blueprint system was first launched in November 2022 to replace the system we had for recording CPD activities. The Blueprint tool consists of a self-assessment tool, a personal development plan, the CPD platform, the CPD resource library, and the IOSH ethical practice in IOSH e-learning and assessment. The reason behind the self-assessment tool is there to help you identify your strengths along with areas for improvement. It is mandatory for technical, certified, chartered members and chartered fellows to complete your self-assessment. For student members and affiliate members, they can skip the self-assessment because it's not required for their membership level. The personal development plan is there to structure and list your development areas that you wish to focus and further develop yourself on. There's a My CPD record page in Blueprint, which will display your CPD activities that you have recorded into the Blueprint system. We expect for you to record your CPD activity with a self-reflection statement on what you have learned and accomplished. The CPD resource library offers over 1,000 CPD hours of contents aligned with the competency framework. And we also have the IOSH ethical practice in IOSH e-learning and assessment learning material.
See you, Chloe. See you home. Bye.
Sorry, yes, material delivers current content on ethical considerations affecting organizations and the IOSH professions in its broadest content. The CPD requirement within your blueprint are completion of your self-assessment, having a personal development plan, recording 30 hours of CPD activities over a 12-month cycle, and for chartered members and chartered fellows to complete the ethics module assessments annually. And I'll cover all this in the demonstration after this presentation. Please remember to benchmark yourself against the IOSH competency framework using our self-assessment tool to help you monitor your progress and evaluate your result over time. What CPD is giving competent and up-to-date advice, which is an essential part of protecting people in the workplace, and it is the responsibility of all occupational safety and health professionals to ensure and to maintain their own competence. CPD is completing in a systematic and planned approach to the maintenance, enhancement, and broadening of the knowledge, skills, expertise, and competence of professionals throughout their careers. By requiring our graded categories of membership to undertake CPD, IOSH shows a commitment to the principle that attaining the relevant qualification is not the end of learning, and that competence to practice must be regularly developed and reviewed to be capable and rounded occupational safety and health professional. The benefit of completing your CPD it is an ongoing and structured method of organizing development activities. An up-to-date CPD record allows professionals to demonstrate the maintenance and development of their knowledge and skills to their employers, other professionals, and society. Employees have assurance that their team are dedicated to self-development and maintaining standards and competence. This also gives the public confidence that IOSH members with mandatory CPD requirements are professionally competent and are maintaining their professional standards. So, just at the end, I've included our email address and our phone number. So if you do have any CPD or Blueprint related questions, you can email us on cpd.inquiries@iosh.com, or you can call us on 0116 3500 888. So after I've done the demonstration, if you still are struggling or you would like to talk to anyone, please get in touch, or alternatively, you can go on to the IOSH website, and we do have an FAQ there, which you'll be hopefully there'll be questions and answers there that may solve your queries. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump straight to the demonstration, so where I can demo the blueprint. So I'm just going to exit out the presentation. I need to remember to hit the share icon. Okay, so I hope everyone can see my screen. I'm just going to move the videos to the right. Okay, so when you first log on to Blueprint, this is the page that you will see. At the moment, I've only got one task here. So if I just quickly get a image, drag this to my screen. There we go. So when you first log in, you will come to the self-assessment page, and you'll have 12 sections to complete. And this is how the screen will look. So in here, all you need to do is click on each task, and you'll have a series of questions that you just need to answer. There's no right or wrong questions. It's all competency type of questions. So if you are in that situation, which one would you select? That's what you need to do. And just for demonstration purpose, what I've done is I've completed all and just left one, so you can have a look on what you're expected to see. So if I click on the task, what happens is it'll take you to a series of questions. So you want to start part one, and then it will ask you the question, and all you need to do is select the one that you believe is the correct approach. So I'm just going to select anything just for the demonstration purpose. Okay. And then I'm going to click to confirm to submit my answers. And then there'll be a part two as well. So you want to start your part two again. Is going to ask you a series of questions, and you just select the one that you believe you would do. Okay, so I've selected any just for the purpose of demonstration. Okay, back to the menu. So once you've completed all 12 sections, what you need, your progress bar will show you've got 100%. So once you've reached 100%, the system will allow you to move on to the next screen. So if you hit the next screen, you'll come to this page. This is your select development area page. So the result of your self-assessment is displayed here. So for example, if you're a technical member, it'll automatically will be populated here. And then the level will be highlighted to you. So if I was in the technical membership level, it will show here, and it will highlight the level that I need to be. And please bear in mind that this is only a guide. So what the purpose behind this is Blueprint is trying to highlight areas, potentially development areas that you can add to your personal development plan. That's what it's trying to do. So you've done your self-assessment, and it's worked out for these development areas where you are. So anything that falls before your level, so these are potentially areas that you could add to your personal development plan. And then any areas that goes above your level, those basically are highlighting those are your strength. And anything that falls on your level, so you're basically on the current on the right area. Now, we don't stop you on what you can select on what you, because in the end it's your choice, it's your plan. So what I'd advise is look through the list and see which development area you would want to further develop yourself, because the system has told you you need to do negotiating, and in your remit of your role, there is no intention, or you don't need to do no negotiating. You don't need that skill. You don't have to select that negotiating skill. Um, what I would suggest is, if you would want to further develop that area, because because the system has highlighted that this is potentially a development area to work on, and you want to work on it, you can select it. But if you don't select it, it's absolutely fine. It's only a guide. So that's the reason behind this area. So all you need to do when you come to this select development area is select a couple of development areas that you want to add to your personal development plan. So I'm just going to select um let's just say this one. There we go. I'm going to just the strategy development, because I've got few already selected. And then once I've made my decision, I'm just going to hit next. There you go. So I've selected the areas that I want to add. So these are the development areas that I want to add to my plan. And because it's a development area that I've added to my plan, it needs a due date. So I've populated the due dates for these. And for the new one that I've just selected, I'm just going to you just put any date just for the demonstration. You can put it in a week's time, in a month's time. It could be a year's by the end. Or if it's like 2 years time, you can put 2 years time. So you can click on the drop down box and select the year. Okay, so for this, I'm just going to select end of the month. So my plan is to get this development area completed by the end of the month. Okay. The dates that you put in, please do not worry. These are estimate dates. So if you did not get it done by the date that you've put it, the system does allow you to change that. And I'll show you that as well. So click to confirm your development plan. So tick that, and there you go. So we've done your self-assessment, and now we've just completed our development plan. So when you hit next, the system will now let you in fully to see the rest of the blueprint. I'm just going to go back to the development plan, because that's what we were just talking about. So if you click on Open My PDP, which stands for Personal Development Plan, that takes you to your development plan that you've just created right now. So there you go. There's your list. Okay, so if you click on your development plan, on the right-hand side, you will have more options that you can work on. So at any time, say you've not managed to complete that development plan and you need to extend it, you can come here, select the development area, and change the date. Okay, so say you didn't manage to finish it by March, but now you plan to complete it by end of August. It's absolutely fine. This area is a place for you to just plan. Now, also, if it's no longer required at any time, you can click on the development area and you've got the option to remove it from your list as well. So you've got remove development area. So all you do is tick this and says, I confirm I would like to remove the development area from my development plan, and hit remove. And that's it. It's gone off your list. Because you've deleted it, it's not permanently deleted. You can always go back and add it in. So you've right at the top, you've got two buttons here. You've got select development areas, where if you click it, it goes back to your result page. So at any time you can come back and tick other development areas that you want to add to your plan. So you can do this at the end of the year if you've completed your current development areas, and then you want to add more, so you can come to this area and select more development areas. You also have the reassess button as well. So if you want to reassess certain areas, you can do as well. So if you hit the reassess button, it will ask you for your password to make sure that you are sure that you want to reassess. And plus, it will give you the 12 areas, so you can select which area you want to reassess. And then we next to the select development area, you've got the add personal development area as well. So what that is the system gives you up to 5 of your own development to be created. So for example, if you wanted to do a first aid training and that was part of your objectives and part of this year's plan, what you can do is click on add personal development area, put in a title, so the first aid course in the description. This is a 3-day course that is happening in a certain location, and you can just give us a brief and that's it. And then once you hit the save button, it will be added here. And then when you click on that development area, you can select the date, you can start recording CPDs activities to it as well on. You can also remove it from there. So that's everything covered on your personal development plan. If you do want to record a CPD activity, you can just click on any of your development area. And what you'll notice on the right hand side, you'll find is there's a record activity button. So when you hit the record activity button, it opens up a form, and this is what you need to do. You need to complete this form to record your CPD activity. You need to give it a meaningful title. So what is that CPD activity? So let's say this meeting itself is a CPD activity. So you can put in the branch meeting, select a category. So put the nearest category that you believe it fits into. Um, and then a brief description of what is it that you did. So you could say, oh, I went to the branch meeting to learn about the blueprints and CPD and etc. That was covered. So a brief description, and then how long did it take? So you could put in an hour. Notice one thing though that I need to highlight. The maximum you can record for a CPD activity is 10 hours. Now, if you have a course that it runs over 3 days, what we would recommend is to split the course by the day or by the topic that you've learned or unit modules. It's up to you how you'd want to split it. But the main thing you want to do is you want to capture the time, all the time that you spent in that CPD. So if day 1 was 5 hours and day 2 was 7 hours, um, in you could split it by day 1. I learned about this, and then day 2 I learned about this and that in there. And in the reflection, this is the main and most important part, is we need a true reflection of the reason, like why did you actually do the CPD? Is it actually going to help you in your current place? Is it going to help you with your future objectives or future career plan? And this is the things that we want to look into. What you can do is you can also structure in there, put in questions, the reason why did I do this CPD activity? What did I learn from this CPD activity? How is this going to benefit me? How this is going to help me? You can put in questions in there to help you answer those questions as well. You will need to put a minimum 500 characters in this reflection box in order for the system to mark it as complete. So notice how each characters will be calculated. So you will need a minimum of 500 characters in there. So that's 500 letters in there. Once you populate 500, you'll be able to enter a end date, and you'll see a tick box where you can mark it as complete. The other thing is, once you start populating this form, please make sure you hit the save button, because if you hit the close button, it won't save your any activity that you've completed or any text box that you've populated. So please make sure you hit the save button. On the right hand side, your development area is listed there. The reason behind that is if you're recording a CPD activity and it is linked to any of your development plan, all you do in here is just tick it. And this is how you're telling the system, I've done this CPD because it was part of my plan. It was in my plan. And that's how the system links the two together. You can record CPD activities that are not part of your plan. So say for example, you went to work and then randomly you were told you needed to go into a diversity training and it wasn't part of your plan, but it's been given to you. But it's CPD, you've just learned something new. So yes, do record those CPD as well. All you need to do is complete this area. If it's not linked to your plan, you just leave it blank. That's as simple as, okay? If it is linked to your plan, just tick it. In the evidence section, this area is not mandatory because your reflection will be sufficient for us. So when we do the audit, your reflection will tell us that you've completed that CPD. So you do not really need an evidence. But if you do want to upload any certificates, any documents, you're more than welcome to. All you need to do is click the button, give it a name. So this is the name that we will see when we download the document. And then a description as well, so we know exactly what we are opening, and you'd hit the upload button to find your document in File Explorer. Okay, and please hit the save button. So I'm just going to hit cancel, and I'm going to just hit the close button. Okay, so once you've saved a CPD activity, what happens is if you just go to the home page, open my CPD record, what you'll find is any CPD that you record will be listed here. So it will be listed in this area. And notice how I've got some half circles and full circles. So the half circles indicates those are the CPDs that I've saved, but I've not marked as complete. That means, so for example, if I open this consensus training that I had, it was 1 hour, but I've only put 266 characters in there. And this is the title I've put, the category, I've given a date, and I've hit save, but I've not put 500 characters in there. Hence, this is still showing as pending. Now, if I click on this record and hit edit, on this one, I've put 500 characters. So I've put 500 characters. And I've uploaded evidence. And on here, notice now I can put a start date, and this one, this is the fields that become visible once I reach the 500 characters. I can enter the end date, and I can tick record as completed. And when I do that, what the system does is for every record that I've hit, mark it as complete, the system starts calculating those hours. So anything that I haven't marked it as complete, it will show as pending. Okay. You also have a button here which takes you to the same form, so you can add CPD activity from this page as well. So if you want to record a CPD activity, you can come to my CPD record page and click this button, and that takes you exactly to the same page for you to complete. Also, just want to highlight is this is actually a drop-down box. So if you've been here with IOSH, your list will be bigger. So what happens is your CPD is gathered in your CPD year. So mine starts from 14th March 2024 to 13th March 2025. So any CPD that I've done in this date will be added in here. If you've added a CPD activity, but it falls before that date, so mine before the 14th of March, for example, what will happen is it will fall on your previous year. So I just wanted to mention that. But all your CPD activity is automatically saved in the correct CPD year according to the dates that you put in. Okay. Now, if we hit the home page, we've got the CPD resource library as well. So if I just click here, open CPD resource library, this page is what it is IOSH has provided over 1,000 CPD resources. So it's continuously, they will populate this area. So if it's like a place for you to do your self-learning. And so you can come here, learn about a topic, and you can claim this as your CPD activity. So once you've selected a area, you can click to open. And then what will happen is, so if you have logged on to your My IOSH, you will not see the screen, but because I have not logged into My IOSH, it's asking me to log in. So just gonna log in, and there you go. It should take you straight to the resource page, and then there we go. So not now. And then once you've completed your activity, what you can do is you'll notice that there's a shortcut here as well. So you can add your CPD activity here as well. So the thing that you've just literally, the CPD activity you've just done, you can record it from here as well. So the shortcuts in different places to record your CPD activity. But this place is pretty much a library for you to do some self-learning. And the timing here that you'll notice, those are like estimate timings. So even though it says 15 minutes, but it's taking you longer to do that CPD activity, when you're recording your CPD activity, please put in the time that it took you to complete. Okay, you can also filter down as well. So if there's a specific area that you want to look into, and there's a specific level that you want, so like understand, you can filter down the resources as well. Okay, so I'm just going to go to the home page, and I'm just going to move on to the IOSH ethical practice in OSH e-learning and assessment. We're nearly there. So this area is mandatory for our chartered members and our chartered fellow members. You are required to complete. So if you're doing it the first time, you're required to do the module and the assessment. And if you have completed this in the previous year, then annually what you'll need to do is the assessments questions will change each year, and annually it will reset, and you will need to do the assessments. And if you are struggling to pass, what we recommend is the modules will always be there, so you can always go back and take the modules again and do the assessments as well. Now, if I just do a quick summary before I move on to the last bit. So we've covered that when you first log in, you need to do your self-assessment. Then the system makes you create your personal development plan, where you select the development areas and put in the dates, and that's your plan created. Then you would basically come here. This is the welcome, this is your home page. And this is where you've got the option of now you can manage your personal development plan. You can start managing and creating your CPD activities. You can do some self-learning on the CPD resource library. And also you've got the ethics modules to complete. Now for all other membership level, this is this I'm talking about affiliate, technical, certified members. Even though it is recommend, this module is not mandatory, I do recommend these modules, and if you do these modules, you can claim them as your CPD activity as well. So you can record them as your CPD activity. Now, I'm just going to finish off by coming right at the bottom of the screen. There is it says click to open accessibility toolbar. Okay, so what happens is when you click on that, a toolbar will load, and that's there. So it will help you to if you want to zoom in, zoom out, change colors, change fonts. Basically, you can have it to your own, the way you like Blueprint. You can also get Blueprint if you highlight over and you can play, and then the system will read it out to you as well. You've got ruler as well, so if you want to help focus, you can change the language as well. So if you want the system to speak in a different language, so anything with a speaker icon, it can read it out. If it doesn't, then it will just it will change from English to the language that you select as well. Um, and if you want a guide, a user guide, if you click on this, it will take you to a separate page and it will tell you what each icon is as well. So I thought I will cover this for anyone who would like to any help with or want the system to read out anything. Sometimes you just want that extra help or just to focus. So you can exit this tool if you find that there's no use for you. You can exit at any time. All you need to do is hit the X button, and when it says is about to close, just click OK, and that will close the toolbar. So I just wanted to show that accessibility toolbar, but that's every feature of the Blueprint. I hope that uh, this makes it easy for you after you've seen the system fully. Okay.
They'll have to get used to the system. Is that it?
Yes, that's
Thank you.
everything. I'm just gonna
That's
stop
everything.
sharing.
A real whistle top. So if you stop sharing, and thank you. As we said at the beginning, we'll do the questions and answers at the very end. Cassie, are you going to do yours?
Yes. Yep. Just bear with me, and I will
on the
start
chat while
sharing
Cassie's loading up. Carl put in a message there about the headings for your evidence, and I think it's very good advice. And the 4 headings: what the activity was, why did you do it, what learning was gained, and how you're going to use those knowledge and skills moving forwards. And when you do the evidence, if you do it in that format, I think that's very, very good advice from Carl. Okay, so I'll hand over to Cassie. Seamlessly.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you everyone for joining us today. Thanks for having me. So I'm just going to run you through a brief outline of how to progress through chartership and fellowship. So my name is Cassie. So I'm a professional assessment coordinator with the Professional Development and Standards team. And I work directly with members to support them through various membership grades and assessment processes. I'm just going to give you a brief kind of overview and talk through the key points on the route to become chartered or a chartered fellow member. So let's firstly... So we have 3 assessment processes currently. So the first one I'll talk about is the initial professional development, which is our currently running assessment process to gain chartered membership. And this assessment process is based on qualifications that you have previously submitted to us. How it works is we ask you to send your qualifications through to us, and we'll review those alongside your CV, so your experience and skills, and then we will determine what route you would follow for IPD. In that, we have the skills development portfolio, which is an evidence-based portfolio, the open assessment, which is an online open book assessment, which has multiple choice questions and essay type questions. As well as that, there's a CPD review and the peer review interview. This process is completed on my IOSH through the website. I'll go in to talk a bit more about each one after this slide. So the new assessment process that we have coming up that's due to be launched this summer is the professional development assessment, and this assessment process is based on our competency framework. So it's tailored to the individual, and sorry, just bear with me. I just need to move something out of the way so I can read that. So it's tailored to the individual assessment process, taking into account qualifications and experience already gained, and this is on Blueprint, so you complete this through Blueprint. And the next assessment process that we'll talk about is the experiential route, and this is for members, so affiliate and technical members who currently don't have any accredited qualifications, but do have at least 5 to 10 years leadership experience. So for those members that maybe don't have academic qualifications, but have lots and lots of experience out in the field, lots of knowledge there, that can be put towards this assessment process to gain chartered membership. And each of these assessment processes you can apply online, and there's lots of information online on our website. Initially, so a point to make with these is initially we require everybody to send us through their qualifications or whatever they have that may be relevant towards the assessment process, and their CVs, so we can then determine which assessment process might be the best route for you. Okay, so I'll move on to the next slide. So IPD, as I said, is our current assessment process, and it really is kind of looking to provide a full-rounded picture of your qualifications and experiences, and based on that information you'll follow a particular route. So I won't go into too much detail about the various different routes, but I will say that we have workshops running monthly. There's actually, I think the next one is due on the 25th of July for IPD, and in those workshops there's lots of information shared and question and answer sessions, so very, very much worth going online and checking those out. Okay, so I just wanted to include this for anyone who is going through the IPD process or looking to enroll. I just wanted to put some of the main tips for the PRIs, so peer review interviews. So you'd be asked to provide a presentation which is based on your career history, and we're really looking to find out, well, for you to have that opportunity to discuss and tell us what your career history is, what your journey has been up to this point, and really talk about where you are in your career at the moment. Some of the key points I would say, remember to talk about and look into the IOSH Code of Conduct, be aware of the importance of CPD, and prepare for the interview, I think is a really good one. Also, we have mentors available to kind of help support through that process as well. Okay, so we're looking at the professional development assessment process. So this is the new assessment process that will be due to launch this summer. So this is open to certified members with a accredited level 6 qualification and 2 years experience. So this route is aligned to our competency framework and focuses on skills needed for the ever-evolving IOSH profession, really, and is delivered by a bank of our assessors. So this is due to be launched this year, and it will replace the IPD assessment process. Yeah, so and that will cover four key stages. So we've got the knowledge assessment, which will be multiple choice questions at chartered level to establish the breadth and depth of your experience and knowledge, really, against the IOSH competency framework, and also allow you to produce an action plan to address competencies requiring further development. Also, there will be the portfolio of evidence. So you'll need to compile evidence to show how you have addressed any competency gaps. Also involved in this process is the professional discussion paper. So we're looking at 3,000 to 5,000 words, and to provide evidence against set criteria for this. You will need to support your portfolio with a reflective statement. So we want to see your progression, you know, what you did, why you did it, what did you learn from it. Okay, and the next part is the professional discussion paper. So you would attend an online interview structured around the previous 3 steps. So there is lots of support. It's really important to know there's lots of support available at every stage, and for all assessment processes. You can get in touch through either the team, the PDA team, or like I mentioned, gaining the support from a mentor. And there's the resource library on Blueprint as well, which has lots and lots of resources to help support you through this process as well. Okay, so I'll move on to the experiential route. So again, the experiential route, so this is slightly different. So the experiential route, the idea is this is for our members that maybe don't have an accredited qualification, but have lots and lots of experience within their profession. And the idea is to capture that knowledge and skill set, and help kind of drive you forward in your career progression as well, your professional development. So there are 3 or 4 stages to this assessment process. So the first 3 are completed on Blueprint. So again, that's a knowledge assessment, a portfolio of evidence, a professional discussion paper, and the final stage is the final stage is the professional discussion interview, and that's for chartered members only. So that final stage is to help you reach chartered membership. So if you completed the first 3, you know, that is where you're sitting at certified membership level, and then the final one will take you up to chartered membership. Okay, so that's just a brief overview. Again, we will have workshops running with more in-depth information to really help support you through all of these processes. Yeah, okay. So the next one I'm going to talk about is fellowship. So fellowship, so fellowship just demonstrates significant seniority experience, so highly influential within the IOSH profession, and clearly visible in contributing and developing the profession. You also with fellowship have a set of processes to go through to reach fellowship, chartered fellowship. So you've obviously got the application process, which you can apply online. And you can do that by sending a CV as well and applying online. So there are, bear with me a second. So the eligible criteria for fellowship is that you need to be a chartered member for 5 years or more, have completed the IOSH ethical practice in e-learning and assessment, a minimum of 5 years relevant leadership experience, and the application process is submitted through Blueprint. And there's a portfolio of evidence that you would need to put together as part of the fellowship process. So we're really looking for, we're really looking for evidence where you have gone above and beyond outside of your profession, and things like voluntary work, any incentives that you've implemented within the wider IOSH community, and that kind of thing. There is also a potential interview as well at this stage. Okay. So what support is available? So like I said, our professional development team is there to help with any queries. We can help with any technical issues and that kind of thing. We can point you towards workshops. We'll be running regular workshops every month. Also, you'll have assessor feedback at every stage throughout your journey. There's a resource library, IOSH mentor platform, and yes, there's lots of various ways in which you can gain support. Okay, so that is everything from me. So thank you again, and I'm happy to take questions and help as best I can. Okay.
Thanks, Cassie. Mark?
Okay, thanks, Tony. Thanks, Rasmin and Cassie. We've got a couple of questions in the chat. So first up, Paul Affleck, would you like to come on and pose your question? Are you still with us, Paul? Okay, moving on. Lorraine Adamson, would you like to come on and pose your question, please?
Hi guys. I think I've asked 2 questions. I've got Tony waving to me. Hi, Tony. I've got 2 questions actually. So the first one that I'd asked on here, well, actually it was more of just a bit of a feedback, which was I did the ethical units, which I found really useful on Blueprint, and actually it was really good to see that there was more available and how to access them. So I found that session really helpful. But just it would be really helpful if there was timings on there, because obviously finding time to complete these can be really difficult sometimes. So if you start one and then realize it's a 45-minute session, for example, that can be quite hard. So having a little timestamp on approximately how long it might take would be really good. And then the other thing is actually on the assessment side of that, sometimes if you do get something wrong, it doesn't tell you what you got wrong. And actually that would be really helpful from a learning perspective as well. So it was just a bit of feedback there. And then just on Cassie's section, I just have a quick question. So I literally this week have kind of secured out my little savings pot to go on the IPD route again, because I did do it in 2020, but COVID happened and I didn't finish it. Yeah. So I want to start that journey, but I'm just interested about whether or not it's the right idea to go through the IPD route now with your mentioning the new system. Yeah. And also just considering the cost of that as well, because somebody has mentioned there's a significant increase in the cost of that new route, which makes me
Yeah.
think I'd rather do the current route. But I just wondered if you can give us a bit more context around
Yeah.
that.
Absolutely, yeah. So yeah, we're having this question quite a lot. So I would say definitely if you've been on the IPD process before, or are at that point where you are ready to go on that next step, definitely enroll on IPD while you can.
Right. Okay.
And follow that process. Yeah. Yeah, obviously we will still be taking IPD enrolments up until the changeover to the new process, and all members currently on that process at that time will have the 2 years to complete that process.
Okay,
So yeah, it's definitely worth going for that if that's what you want to do. Yeah.
Great. Thanks, Cassie. Appreciate
Yeah,
it.
no problem.
Thanks, Lorraine. Okay. Next question is from Naveen Sankaran. Naveen, would you like to come on?
Mark, if they're not, if people can't answer the question, ask the question themselves, is your chance you can read that question for them?
Yeah,
Right,
no
thank
problem,
you.
Paul. So Naveen's question was, what does lead, implement, innovate, etc. mean?
Okay. I think this one's for me. So it's basically is according to your development area. So for example, let's just say negotiating. So you'll start off with the first level is understand. So you'd basically, which means you understand that development area. The next level would be implement. So and then we've got lead and then innovate as well. So for that development area, you need to what the system is showing is if the circle's on understand, that means you already understand that development area. If it's on implement, that means you can create, develop stuff on it. You can lead, which is the second one. That means you totally understand, you can create it, and you can lead, you can tell other people as well about it. And innovate is where you can go outside the box, so you pretty much know this area so well. So that's what it is. It's the level of that for that specific development area. So we had a whole load of development areas, so that's what it was checking for all of those development areas where you are. Are you on the understand level? Are you on a lead level for that area? Or can you implement, or can you be at the innovate level for that development area? I hope that answers that query.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. Thank you,
Yeah.
Rasmin. We've had a question from Anthony Simmons. I think this is more a direct question. Anthony, would you like to come on?
Yes, I can do. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, I'm a older member, shall we say, getting towards retirement, not quite retired yet, but my role's changed significantly over the years. So I'm no longer in a position to influence, etc. And so I went through the blueprint thing, answering it as honestly as I could. It just seemed to come back with saying I had a load of learning. Well, it's not applicable to my role. I'm never going to be in a position now to influence as such as what I believe you're setting out to be. So I'm just wondering, or am I just getting it wrong? I just seem to be creating a load of work for myself, which I can't see the point for.
Right. So is Anthony. So Anthony, for the system, like I've mentioned in the demonstration, that it's only a guide. So the development areas that it highlights is basically just guiding you, and it's showing you like these are potentially development areas you can add to your personal development plan, but the choice is up to you if you want to add or you don't want to add. You need a minimum of one development area at least to move forward. So if in that whole big list, is there one development area that you can look into and and further develop yourself in. Because once you've selected one, because you can also add your own personal one afterwards as well. So you've got a maximum of 5 you can add. And the other
Sorry,
thing, oh,
to
sorry.
what end? To what end, though? If this
So,
is about my career path,
yeah.
my career path is declining. You know, I'm going to stay with my employer till I retire,
Mhm.
doing what I do. I could come up with a number of suggestions to my employer, which that they're under no obligation to adopt. So I'm just curious. So to progress what though? To progress my career, which is not going to progress. Can I not just do the 30 hours of CPD? But that's what
It,
you seem to be saying. No, you have to do at least one development area. But for what? I've got a master's. I've been chartered for a number of years. No, I'm not in a position to influence the direction and travel
it could
of my employer.
it could be just an objectives that for example at your workplace, so you can put in your work objectives as well. So if you've got something that like a strategy or some project that you're building as well, you can put that in as well. So any CPD activities or um anything you're learning at work, you're shadowing your colleague, or you're researching, or you're um um um, having any training, all of those count as CPD activities that you can record as well. So see it as like a plan. Like when you go into work, what is it that you want to get done, and what have you learnt in that time? So if you've been at work, so you got a new job, you'll have multiple training thrown at you. All of those will count as CPD. If you just go right now, you've come to a workshop, again, this counts as CPD, because now you've got knowledge of how Blueprint works, how, any new knowledge gain, those can be added to your CPD, and you can record that as a CPD activity.
All right, so I might be misunderstanding, because I understand what CPD is because I've been doing that for donkey's years.
Yeah.
What I don't understand really is why I have to do blueprints and identify areas for improvement to advance my career. That's where I'm getting at, because as I say, I've done it. It said, oh, you need to do all this. Whereas I'm saying, well, no, I don't.
I think there's a misunderstanding here, because what the blueprint system is the tool to record your CPD activity. Everything else is a guide. So doing the self-assessment is helping you trying to work out your strengths and weaknesses, and it's helping you to plan your development area. So you select what you want to add to your plan, but mainly blueprint is the tool to record your CPD activity. All the other stuff on the resources that there is there. Again, it's to help you. So if you want to look up on a certain area that you want to learn, you can do self-training. We don't have to. It's the rest are just a guide, except for the CPD activities that you need to document. And if you are a chartered member, then it's a requirement for you to do the modules and the assessment.
Right.
Okay, thank you. That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it more about not improving but maintain? Because I'm in a similar position to Anthony, and I'm seeing there's other comments here for the older members. You know, we could be sitting on our hands and not doing anything, and it's
Yes.
about maintaining those standards. So it's just carrying on doing the job, but just demonstrating that we're maintaining those standards. Is that right?
That's correct. You've got it, Tony. If you're maintaining and you're up to date with all the new policy and stuff, all those will count as CPD. So
yeah.
So
it's not improving because you reach a certain end in the career path, don't you? What happens when you retire? Is it possible to keep your blueprint going then as well? And what type of evidence would you be using for your CPD evidence when you do retire?
Well, you've got things like you can say you're volunteering in certain places, you can record that, or for example, you're reading the IOSH magazine, or you're just there's different ways you can look at IOSH material. You can go on a different websites, or you can go to the branch meetings, and there's places, and then you gain new knowledges in different areas and be up to date with all the new legislation, new policy, things that you can update. All of those will count as CPD. So you can retire with CPD and you can continue recording that you've done this. I went to a branch meeting and learned this. And
can I add to that then, Tony? Obviously, if you do the blueprint, you do a self-reflection. It
yes,
scores you across the 4 categories about where you can improve. So in theory, if you're a fellow member, right, and you hit every single note of the blueprint, you've no more areas for development, right? And like Tony was saying there, you're back end of your career, you've got the C-shirt worn and everything else. You keep yourself abreast of latest legislation, really. And that's really, if the IOSH blueprint is saying to you, look, you can't do any more development areas because you've hit all the notes, you're at the top of the food chain, you're leading everything, you've got Charter Fellow, what happens next? Is that bit then that really it's a case of keeping yourself abreast of things, and if you like, giving back, and that's you basically ticking all the boxes, but recording CPD as if you were like giving back? Does that make sense? Does that make sense? In terms of you're not, there's nothing more to learn because you already know it all. Don't get me wrong, there's always something to learn. But if there's new legislation coming out or anything like that, or you create a new role for yourself, that's basically where you record that as CPD as something out the blueprint comfort zone. Is that right?
I believe in, like, there is, learning at any age. You'd always be continuously learning. So even when you have retired, it doesn't mean that's it. You won't be able to learn anything after that. You could suddenly be in a stage where you say that you're up to date with all the policy, all the legislation and stuff, but suddenly you want to volunteer in a different area, or you're helping here, or you just you've got the technology at your fingertips that you can just be researching on a certain area that you have interest on. But
so really, that's for you then as a person to find that knowledge outside the blueprint, because the blueprint might be fully completed by yourself in terms of self-development, and there's nothing more you can improve on based off the blueprint. So it's up for you then to find other areas of growth and knowledge that links back outside the blueprint, but record it on there.
Yeah, as Tony said as well, it's also about maintaining. So if you're maintaining your knowledge as well, those count as CPD. So you're recording those as well.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, guys. We have a question, another direct question from Gary Jones. It's how does he change his email? Well, are you there, Gary?
Hi, Mark. Yeah, me. Yeah. I've just changed NHS trusts, and my last blueprint was obviously logged in at the previous trust. I'm currently logged out, and I was just wondering how I changed it to this trust's email address, because I can't seem to get access to my previous blueprint.
No problem. Yes, if you just email us, and then what we can do is we can change it to your new email address, and then what will happen is it takes about 48 hours to sync into the blueprint, and then you'll have your new email as your username. And you should be able to log in.
Thanks very much.
Okay, thanks, Gary. We've got a question from Dan from our committee. Do you want to come on, Dan?
Hiya, mate. I think it was pretty much answered when the name was on before. I paid for my IPD but not started it, but I think I'll just pull my finger out and get going.
Yeah.
It's about time, too.
Yeah, it is. I paid for it a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely get stuck in. Yeah, I would say. Yeah, and if you need any support, yeah, just send us an email. But yeah, definitely just carry on with that, because you will still have when you enroll, you have 2 years to complete it. So if you're halfway through, you'll have some time to get that completed.
Is paying enrolling, or is enrolling different to paying?
By enrolling, I mean making the payment, which opens it up on the system and then allows you 2 years to complete that. So yeah, if you've done that already, you should still have some time. But it may, Well, you can always check that. If you email us or give us a call, we can check that on your record for you to tell you how much time you've got or where you are. We can point you in the right direction.
Thanks, Cassie.
No problem.
Thanks, Dan. Another question from another committee member, Carl. Did you cover this before, or was this a separate question?
I think it's a separate question, Mark, to be honest.
Of the professional discussion paper entail.
Yeah,
criteria.
what does that look like? But basically, I sit on the peer review panel, you see, with for obviously for charter members, really.
Yeah.
So I've seen the updates coming through. So obviously the IPD process is changing.
Yeah.
So I think really, if there's anybody going to go on that journey of going down the old IPD route or whatever else, is obviously we're keeping ourselves abreast really as peer review panelists. But in terms of that professional review paper, what does that look like? Is there a criteria behind it in terms of ending?
There is a set criteria. I believe there's 7 different set criteria, and there will be workshops on that coming forward. I will need to get the specific information for you as off the top of my head. I'm not sure exactly what those topics are.
Okay.
But yeah, I can find that out for you.
Yeah, well, like you say, there's workshops going to be doing, and it's just in the background, ready to.
Yeah.
Probably people are applying later on this year and into next year. It's just if anybody comes to you, asks for you to say, look, and especially if you're on the mentoring program, because you do get people ready to make the leap of faith, and it's that bit of
absolutely, yeah, and you want to be able to support them as best you can, having that knowledge. Yeah, I get that totally. Yeah, I can get your contact details if you like and send you some information.
Please, Cassie, if you don't mind.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, thanks, Carl.
Sorry, Mark, just going to jump in for a second. Actually, Rasmin's going to have to leave us now because she's got other things to get to. So I don't know if we want to just carry on the questions, if we've got any, but I know Rasmin won't be able to pick those up. So maybe any offline we can take them, can we, Cassie?
Yeah, I can help as best I can. Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Rasmin.
If Cassie can't answer the questions, we have the cpd.inquiries@iosh.com, so you can send all your queries in there, and we'll answer all your queries there. Okay, take care, everyone.
Perfect.
Bye.
Thanks, Raz. Bye.
Bye.
Back to you, Mark.
Okay, thanks, Paul. There's only one question left in the chat. This is from Carl Jones. Would you like to come on, Carl?
Yeah. Hi, Mark. I'm online. I think Cassie has already answered it. So I've started my CPD just to confirm that you've got 2 years from the date that you enroll to complete that. So
do you mean IPD? Initial professional development? Yeah. No worries.
So there's going to be a crossover period of the old route and the new.
Yeah, there is absolutely. Yeah. So anyone that's already enrolled when we get to that launch date will still carry on their journey as expected. Yeah, and you'll have that 2 years to complete that as you would do normally. Yeah, we want to enable people, so we want to allow people to have that time that they need to get through that process. So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay, thanks, Carl. That is all the questions in the chat. Back to you, Tony.
Okay.
Yeah, are there any further points that anyone would like to raise? I don't know how many people are left, but is there anything further? Any questions? Burning questions? No? Okay. Well, thanks, Cassie. And if you can pass on my thanks to Raz as well. I know you are available. You're available by phone. You've got your email addresses, which are put in the chat button. You're also holding workshops. So you are there to support people through the process. And also, as I said initially, there are members of our committee. We are mentors, some of us. We will help them through the process.
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's a lot out there to support people, etc. And once again, thank you for your time and efforts. Speak soon.
Thank you all. Thank you. Take care.